Today I wanted to share a catch-up type of video with you guys, check back in, let you know that I'm very much still here because it's been about 3 weeks since a video has gone live on this channel, and that lull is primarily due to the kids and myself packing up and heading out on the day that our road trip binder video went live. We were actually arriving in Manly Hot Springs, where Justin has been working for the last 3 summers. This summer was the end of the project, so we decided, since all of the kids are homeschooled this year and we were able to, that I would head out there with the kids for the last 2 weeks or so of his project. And so that's what happened, and Manly Hot Springs is one of those places. There are many of these places in Alaska where we go where we don't have access to cell phone service or Wi-Fi, and there was no way for me to edit and upload, and so that's what happened there. And then when we came home, we actually headed out to Lake Louise, but I'll be sharing more about all of those things with you guys. There's vlogs for both of those trips, and that's kind of what I wanted to chat about a little bit here today. And these types of videos, I would like to do them once a month, and I'd like to do them in a way where we look back at the month that has just passed and gone by, and then we're looking forward at the next upcoming month. And my hope and kind of passion for this type of a video is that the comment section becomes something really positive, where you guys are able to check in with each other, share things about your lives. I'm able to reply to comments, and it's really somewhere where this little community can come together and kind of share things about our lives. And it can be the simplest things, like your kid starting a new sport, or big things like you moved across the country or started a new job. And so these catch-up videos, that's my ultimate goal for them, and something that I would like them to become, and hopefully you guys can help me out with that. Now, when it comes to vlogs, because there are more coming your way, I'm not stopping vlogging in any way, shape, or form. I've just decided that in order for me to be able to sustain filming vlogs, I needed to approach them in a different way, and I needed to kind of take this weird pressure. I mean, this channel is so small, I'm the only one that's putting this pressure on myself, but this pressure to have either daily or a weekly type vlog available. And ultimately, someday I would like to be able to weekly vlog. I don't think daily vlogging is the right fit for not only myself, but our family and our lifestyle, but weekly vlogging, I feel, is something more obtainable, I guess you'll say, for our family, our lifestyle. But right now it's not possible, and I was kind of pushing us that way a little too soon. So these next vlogs that you see that are going to come out are from a little bit further back in time, and it's things like our Manly trip. So it wasn't really that long ago, but by the time it goes up, it will have been a month since we went to Manly. And the reason for that being is that I really creatively need to take my time when I edit, and it's something that I feel a drive to constantly be improving just upon what I've already done. I don't feel the need to kind of keep up with anyone else on YouTube or any other vloggers here on YouTube, but I do feel a need to make sure that each time I put out a video that it's better. And as the person not only editing the video, but the person behind the camera capturing the content that becomes the video, I just overall kind of feel the need to take a step back, slow down my process, and reapproach it differently. And I believe that will come across when you guys see our Manly vlog. I decided this time to film stuff that normally I wouldn't have even entertain the idea of getting the camera out for, and it's things like us going to haul water. Now, I've talked about it before, that when we're in Manly, you know, we have to haul water sometimes and get it from a potable water source and then pump it into our trailer. I've mentioned it, but I've never showed it to you guys, and so this time I took the time to film that process. It's something that's really basic and really mundane, but it's definitely a part of our everyday life when we're in Manly. We're not hauling water every day, but we're constantly aware of how much water is left in this tank, how much water is in this tank, what day did we go get water. And on top of that too, we have to go to the laundromat when we're in Manly because we don't have a washer and dryer in the trailer, and the kids are very much a part of that. So I decided to capture those moments, and I hope they come across in a way where you guys are just kind of getting the feel for our life, but it's in a deeper perspective than that. It's a mother capturing her kids in a way where someday I want to have these videos not only for my children to look back on their childhood, but my grandchildren to see their parents in a way that they may never have ever believed their parents would, because we don't know how our children are going to be as adults. I'm sure my mom could have never predicted I would have turned out like this. in addition to the Manly vlog, I have one from our Labor Day weekend at Lake Louise, and I'm most excited, I think, about this video because it is something that creatively I really took the time to step back behind the camera and kind of set up my shots in a way where I wasn't just holding the camera to my face. I don't have any issue with that. I just felt the need, this kind of hunger creatively to capture different shots and different perspectives of things. And so beyond just creatively the process of filming and capturing our life when we were in Lake Louise is somewhere that is very near and dear to the essence of our family and who we are. It's a place where Justin's family has a piece of property that's been in the family for many, many years, and it's across the lake, and we hope to build our cabin someday. And when I picture this cabin that we're planning to build, hopefully within the next 5 years it'll be completed. If you live in Alaska or know anything about Alaska, you know when someone in your life says they're setting out to build a cabin, it doesn't mean that that cabin is going to be ready next year, next winter by any means. It's a slow process. It's a process of love, hard work, and I think it humbles any person who thinks they know anything about life when they try to build a cabin in Alaska, and it's a process that we're about to go down. But when I picture this cabin for our family, it's somewhere that I picture my grandchildren. I know I've mentioned this before, but I'm getting to this point where I'm looking at my kids and I'm realizing that they're growing up so quickly. And I know that seems very cliche, but they're growing up to the point they're making connections with people outside of my comfort zone. You know, they're going off and having these activities, and someday they're gonna have families of their own. And so I'm just thinking about all that recently, and when I picture this cabin, I picture it as a place where our grandchildren are and our children are enjoying life, and we have lots of friends and family there, and I picture beautiful, simple moments for our family there. And so this weekend was the first weekend that myself and the kids were able to go across the lake in our boat with Justin and see the property for the first time. The last time we camped at Lake Louise, it was about 4 years ago. The weather was so rough on the lake, and the lake was very choppy and unsafe, and we also had a different boat that we still have, but it wasn't the best circumstance for myself and the kids to make the trip across. And so this past Labor Day weekend, we were able to go, and we got to pick blueberries, and the kids played on the small amount of beach that we have there on the lake, and it was just a really great weekend. It was probably one of my favorite family weekends in a very long time. Justin's parents also brought their motorhome and camped with us for the first couple days we were there. So it was just very nice to see the kids be able to interact with their grandparents and myself and Justin, and just kind of like strip away the rest of the world, I should say, and enjoy our life together as a family, and just kind of reflect and look at how far our family has come from the last time we were there 4 years ago, and then kind of look beyond the present time to the future when we have our cabin built and all of those things we can share. So hopefully I've captured all of that. It's just my spiel on that, and for the time being, I don't think I'll be weekly vlogging or daily vlogging. I'm just going to be vlogging when we're doing specific things, like maybe a day in the life here or there, and then we upcoming have a trip to Kennecott that we're taking with our charter school that we've partnered with for Homeschool, and so I'll be vlogging those 3 days. And then, like I said, Manly, Lake Louise. I also have a bunch of footage from the summer when I was kind of trying to chomp off weekly vlogging and it didn't quite work out. So I want to compile that back into a video where I just like reflect on our summer overall, but that'll take some time to edit and put together in a particular way and share with you guys. So now that we've gotten all caught up on my perspective on vlogging, I thought I would share a homeschool update with all of you. And just to get it out there, we have not officially started our 2016-2017 curriculum for homeschool. For those of you that homeschool, you're probably going, what in the world is this woman doing with her children's lives? Let me clarify. Due to how homeschooling is in Alaska and the fact that I've partnered with a charter school, placing our curriculum orders and receiving them goes a little bit different. And I know I really need to do a homeschool in Alaska factual information type video so that when I reference these things, you guys aren't confused, and I'm working on it. I just want to make sure all of my information is very direct and easy to understand, and that it helps someone who is either in Alaska and wants to homeschool, or someone who's going to be moving here from somewhere else and needs information. So it's one of those where I need to research and gather some information rather than just sit down and film it off the cuff. So that's why I haven't done that yet. However, how it works is in one of two ways, basically, when it comes to ordering curriculum. I have the option due to the allotment, so the amount of money that each one of our children is allocated for their homeschooling each year, their schooling each year, basically. I have two ways to access those funds. One, I can order the curriculum myself, pay for it out of mine and Justin's pocket, out of our money, and then gather all the receipts, get them turned in, and then get money back from the school district. Okay, now that's great for small things and significant things, but when you're talking about homeschooling 3 different children and you need to purchase curriculum for each one of them, and sometimes your curriculum orders can be $300 or $400, that's a little bit hard to stomach out of your own funds when you know that they have money allotted to them to access. So the way that I prefer to do it, and I think a lot of people prefer to do it, is that you get your curriculum orders together, you print them off, and you put them basically on what they call a purchase order, and you turn them into your advisor, and your advisor submits them to the district approves them, the curriculum gets ordered, it gets shipped to the school, and then you pick it up. It's a great process. I really like it. However, it just takes a while. And I turned mine in this year as early as I possibly could, because in order to order that curriculum, you have to sit down with your advisor and do an ILP, which is an individualized learning plan for each one of your kids, and then the curriculum has to satisfy that ILP. So long story short, I got all that done. The first week school was back open, our charter school was back open and ready to go from summer break, and it's just taking a little while to get our curriculum in. I have received our history curriculum, and honestly, a part of me just kind of like zenned out when I looked at it for a little bit, and then a part of me was like, this is a lot, this is a lot, this is very serious, this is a lot. So also with that, with homeschool, I plan to do curriculum hauls, I guess is what you would call them, sharing our curriculum that I've selected for this year with you guys. And how I'm going to do them is a little bit different than I was initially planning on doing them. I kind of thought I would just like sit down and hold up each individual book of every single subject in one video. But as I received our history order, I realized how large our volume of curriculum was, and I want to do it in a way where someone can kind of come and watch the video if they're interested in purchasing this particular curriculum and get some good quality information out of it. So I've decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to do each subject individually. That way, if you're someone who's looking for history curriculum, you can just watch that. Or if you're looking for language arts, you can check in on that. Science, math, all of those things. So I've decided I'm going to just break them into subjects and do them that way, because in my brain, that's how it makes sense. So just a little check-in on the homeschool stuff. So now that we have kind of recapped the last month or so and chatted about vlogs, and then I've shared a little bit of a homeschool update and looking forward into future homeschool videos, I thought it would be fun to just end this video with 5 random facts about me, and I encourage you to share 5 random things about yourself in the comment section, because I really enjoy getting to know the random things about a person. I mean, I enjoy getting to know a person on a whole, but I think it's really fun when people are able to break down like 5 things about themselves that are really random and kind of a little odd. So I'm going to share 5 of mine, and the first one being, I have to have something on in the background when I am working on something, when I am creating something, when I am cooking, cleaning, any of those things. I do not like silence, except when I'm trying to sleep. It doesn't matter what it is. Sometimes it's a movie, a TV show, podcasts, and books on Audible. Audiobooks right now are my current favorite. I also really love music being on depending on the mood that I'm in. And I think the reason that I like that is actually going to be a part of my like number 2 random fact. But I think it's because I went to boarding school, which is my number 2 random fact. But when I was in boarding school, we worked in these like larger common space, common room type areas, and so there was always some kind of like life noise in the background, whether it was people typing, someone talking to family or friends back at home, someone doing laundry, someone cooking, something. There was always the sounds of another class in the background. There was always some sort of a sound, and I didn't realize how much that had kind of like imprinted on how I productively get things done as an adult until a few years ago, when I was like, why do I always have to have something on, and it was actually Justin, my husband, who pointed out. He's like, do you notice that you like have a show on and you're not even watching it, but you always have to have something on? And that's when it clicked. So my number 2 random thing about me is that I went to boarding school for high school, and I wouldn't change that experience. I do not wish that I had gone to public school, although there were moments where I kind of wished I had stuck it out and gone to my public school, but I was bullied pretty intensely in middle school, and I think a part of it was due to the fact that in 5th grade, my parents divorced, and I moved from the town that I had grown up and known my whole life. I moved 8 whole freaking miles to another town, and I treated it like it was the biggest injustice that had ever happened to me in my entire life, and I was so flippin' dramatic about it, and I think if I had approached it a little bit differently, my outcome would have been a little bit different. However, I don't think I was received very well by like this select group when I arrived in that new town, and for the half of 5th grade that I was there, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, I did end up finding like a good core group of friends, but I was bullied pretty intensely to the point where it really drove me to go to my mom and be like, listen, I need you to get me out of here. I don't want to be here. And that was in 6th grade when I told her that I didn't want to be there. And I am so lucky and so grateful to my mom that she listened to me and kind of became this champion of my education and always pushed me to do better and improve. And she's the one who actually found the boarding school that I ended up going to. Number 3, when I was between my freshman and sophomore years of high school, I volunteered for a summer with the SCA, the Student Conservation Association, and we were placed, my crew, so it was myself and 5 other high school students, plus 2 crew leaders who at the time were college-age students, I believe. We were placed in the Big South River and Recreation area, or the Big South Fork River and Recreation area of Tennessee, and we lived in tents, and we cooked out in the open, and we hiked, and we cleared trail, and we groomed trail, and we couldn't use power tools. Then at the end, we took this backpacking trip, and on our backpacking trip, we like got lost, and it was a little like got lost in the sense that we kept like going on this trail that was routing us back to kind of this like eerie, spooky town. And that trip was the first true trip where I had a camera. My dad had bought me a digital camera, and I had a camera, and it was a film camera. It was a film camera. My dad had bought me a camera, and I decided to really like take these pictures while we were getting lost, and our crew leaders were like pulling out the map to kind of see where we were on this hike. And I took these pictures, and it was the first time for myself that I took pictures, and this was a roll of film that I had to drop off and get developed. But I remember as I was taking the photographs that I was thinking about what the light looked like and compositionally how things were taken. And I had had a camera for years because photography was something that I was interested in. But I guess it was the first time for me, reflecting back on it now, that compositionally and from like the rule of thirds and some different photography things, it was the first trip where I really explored that without even realizing what I was doing. So that trip was really meaningful for me in a lot of ways, but it definitely kind of opened up my eye as someone who's interested in photography. So I'll link the SCA below if you're interested. The premise of it is that they basically place high school students within our national park system, and I believe our state park system here in the United States, so that you can volunteer and you can help maintain certain aspects of the park. It's a really cool thing to do. It's really fun. I actually had the opportunity to come to Alaska the next year, but I turned it down because a boy that I was like dating or had broken up with or was interested in was also getting placed in Alaska, and I just didn't want to go to the same place he did. And so I didn't end up doing it again, and I ended up filling up my subsequent summers of high school with other things. But I would have liked to have done it again. It just didn't work out, but I really loved that first summer, and it's something that I always kind of think about now, and it gave me a lot of really good backcountry experience that has helped when I do things in Alaska. So I'll link the SCA below. Number 4, I do not enjoy large crowds or big groups of people all together. I really love music. I really, really do. But concerts stress me out. Now I can go to like a musical or musical theater and a movie theater, like where people have designated seats and it's a little bit more like even keeled in that aspect. But I cannot handle big groups of crowds and like being in a herd and being shoved and being shoulder to shoulder with people. Something about it, I do not enjoy it. And so if there's something like, if I get invited to something and it involves like a big crowd of people, even sometimes super, super crowded restaurants, give me like a stress factor. So if I get invited to those things, and you've invited me to those things, anyone who's watching this, you probably aren't, and I've turned you down, it has nothing to do with you. It's all about me and the fact that I really do not handle large crowds of people well at all. It actually, like, just talking about it now, I feel like my throat is like starting to tingle and close. So we're gonna move on to a different subject. It's a weird anxiety, fear thing that I have, but I don't like crowds of people and parades. I also don't like parades. Parades stress me out. But moving beyond that, number 5, we'll end on this note. This one's a little bit more happy than anything. I will say now, and this is coming off of our wonderful weekend that we just had at Lake Louise, I think camping is like my ultimate vacation. And camping is a lot of work, and camping with children is even more work. I think, though, that for me, if I got a call tomorrow and someone said to me, Sadie, you can go anywhere in the world with your family and do anything, what would you want to do? I think I would say to them, I want you to put me somewhere in the middle of nowhere that is beautiful and breathtaking and inspiring, but I want to be in a tent, or I want to be in a hut or a yurt or something, and I just want to be unplugged. I don't want to be in a big hotel where I can charge my cell phone. I just want to take the ones that I love. You know, if I could like take everybody in like my family and Justin's family, and that was possible, I would do it. But take myself, Justin, and the kids and just get away and unplug and recharge and reconnect with the more simple things in life. I think that's what I would do. It's probably my favorite thing. I hope someday that I'm able to take each one of my kids individually and together to travel internationally and backpack and do something. And even within our own state here in Alaska, I actually would like to take them on their first backpacking trip and their first overnight mountaineering backpacking trip. And we've done overnight tent camping, and they're champs at that. So it's something that I'm looking into as recent as this next summer, the summer of 2017, taking the 3 of them together and packing their backpacks, and we will hike and we will set up camp and build a fire. And there's a lot of education that has to come with that. Alaska is not for the faint of heart, and Mother Nature is definitely the queen of Alaska, and you have to be prepared. So please, 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 with you and your loved ones, do not think you're going to come here and not need to research and prepare yourselves for being here, because in a split second, lives can change and lives can be lost. It's very much a very wild, very intense place when you get outside of the populated areas. Now, Anchorage, Wasilla, where we live, you're fine. We have a home, obviously. I am not filming this in an igloo, but if you're coming here for adventure and for the wildness and to explore, please do not think you're going to hike out to a bus and survive there, basically, is all that I'm going to say. And for those of you who get that reference, you're either going to understand it or you're going to hate me for just throwing something that so many people connected with, myself included. I connected to Alaska in a big way reading about Christopher McCandless. However, having lived here now and looking at where he went and what he did not make good choices. So make better choices than that. And that is where we're going to end this. I know this took a very strange turn, but yeah, just prepare yourself if you're going to travel somewhere, basically, is what I'm going to say. Thanks for watching, you guys, and I will be sharing vlogs and other videos again very, very soon. I just wanted to check back in after this brief little 3-week jaunt off of the internet and say that I'm very much still here. And if you ever wonder what I'm up to and I'm not posting here on YouTube, there is a very high likelihood that I am probably sharing things over on Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat. So those are linked down below. Please go ahead and check them out, and I will see you guys again very, very soon. As always, lots of love from Alaska, wherever in the world you are. Bye, guys.